is one message in the chat box. That's all I'm asking, just to at least know that I'm talking to people who are awake. I'm not just sitting here shooting at a at a wall. Like, just let me know. Just let me know that y'all are awake. In the I'm about to turn on my camera here in a sec. What's up, people?
Let's catch this bag, brother.
Is that Golly?
Hell yeah.
Oh, what's up, my guy?
What's popping, bro?
Oh, you're about to see some magic, bro. Welcome to the live streams.
As always.
You're about to see where the magic happens. Like, do these guys really catch 800 pips every single live stream? You're about to find out.
I'm about to catch it with y'all. What you mean?
Come on. He said, man, stop complaining. It's what you do. Cameron, I'll kick you off this call faster than you can think. Buddy. Okay, Nasdaq. This is very straightforward. We are in all-time high territory. How did I find these levels? We'll go through that later. These are my magic levels. These are my extension zones. A retest of 16,140. And then we can take it long to 16,293. That is the trade I'm looking for right now. It's the only trade I'm looking for on Nasdaq is a short retracement back down. And I'm going to have to turn this off. Here's the pre-session consolidation. We have structure on the downside and structure on the upside. So there's actually two things I want to see here. Here's the previous consolidation. Here's the previous highs of the consolidation. You guys can see my screen, right? Are we rocking, rolling? Are we ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right. So either a short retracement down to these previous consolidation highs for that continuation, or we are going to push all the way through back down to this daily zone before we push off. So the two prices that I'd be looking at to go long this morning are going to be 16,187, which I think is the most likely. I think it's going to come down here, wick through, and then push up and hit take profit. And then there's another zone down here at 16,150, and that would be the next zone that I'd be looking for if we break right through. Also, yo, if you guys see Andy Peters show up in the waiting room, just let me know. Just give me a heads up in the chat. Be like, yo, Andy's here. Just so I know when he shows up. Real quick, any questions on NAS? Took us about 2 seconds to figure that out. It's a pretty straightforward trade. Market's bullish. We wait for a dip and we buy the dip. Market's bullish. We wait for a short-term retracement. We buy the retracement to trade with the trend. Does that make sense to everybody?
I have a question. I noticed that NAS is on a clear uptrend, yes, but it's had such a large push to the upside. I was looking at the chart and I was like, how come it won't, or I don't believe that it won't touch the 16 flat area to like fill in that space where it had that large push up?
I mean, that's a really good question. And that's very possible. Like if it does come down to this support level, it could wick under and then close right back above. And so this area can get tested like at least halfway through this candle. The one thing you got to remember is how aggressive, depending on how aggressive the trend is, that's how short the retracement is going to be. So if the trend is really slow and steady, then you're normally going to have a deep retracement, something like 50 to 80% of the previous trend before it continues. If a trend is extremely aggressive though, you'll have a short-term retest anywhere between 20 and 30% before the market continues. And so the reason I'm looking for that short-term test is because I believe the momentum is so aggressive, we're not going to get this full retracement 50, 60%. I think that we're only going to get a short-term retest just for the market to accumulate more orders and then we're going to push back up. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
For sure. If it's a slow and steady trend, you'll see a slow and steady retracement, 50, 60%. If the trend is extremely aggressive, you'll probably just see a 20 or 30% retracement before it continues. So here's a pretty good example of this. So after this, after the market pushed up right here, if you had measured it with a Fibonacci from bottom to top, you'd find that this is the 38%. So because this was like a very aggressive recovery and there was bullish momentum in the market from bottom to top right here, it only made a quick retest, 38% double bottom before it shot back up. Same thing from down here to up here. If you measure where the market started to bounce off from, and then if you measure that out, this entire support area here, that's a shallow retracement. And I'll just measure that real quick. So this local support area is the 38%. And so the market might not come all the way back to the 61 or the 71 to retest this giant candle. Instead, what it might do is just make a shallow retracement, quick touch off of that, a more local zone, and then just push back up. And so same thing here. Now we have this giant bullish move. So what I'd like to do is measure that bullish move. We have the 23% right here, and then maybe the 38% could get hit. So that's 16,123. So it's about halfway through this candle. So I could see that as well. So what I could do is, if the market does come down here and I enter a buy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to put my stop loss below this candle, below this candlestick. Because there is a chance it can dip through, come down to that 123 zone that we just saw, and then come back up. So the thing about Nasdaq is, as long as you find the zone that you're willing to enter from, it's really important that you just give it some room to breathe. If you give it enough room to breathe, it's not going to do that situation where it just taps you out of your trade and then keeps going. You'll be able to sit through, even if it wants to dip a little bit deeper to grab some of those orders. Either way, just looking for that retest. If you guys are watching on YouTube, welcome to the New York, London, or New York session live stream with ChartAddicts. If you guys have any questions, please put them in the comments section on YouTube. If you guys are on Zoom and you have any questions, obviously the chat box is available to you. Shout out to our very own Stefano, who called this short last night. Or not last night, it was probably like 3 hours ago during London session. He called the short at 156, if I'm not mistaken, right at the very top of that candle. Yeah, I believe it was 156. Yep, that was his entry. 156 was the entry, and then 156.4 was the stop loss. It's running beautifully right now, somewhere around, this is well over 100 pips. Wow. 160 pips? Yo, who in ChartAddicts took this GJ trade? I know I didn't. I was asleep, people. I was sleeping like a baby. But who took this trade?
Took it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Alex said, what will you look at to confirm entries? Alex, I'm not sure which pair you were talking about. 15 to 30 minute wick rejections to the downside around those zones. I have a standard lot running from 15,929. So I'm not concerned if these limits don't play out. Okay. I did me. I took it. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. Took it, booked before the news dropped. Yeah, so there's GBP news dropping right now. I think it's the bank rate. It's a pretty important news event for GBP. This is an awesome trade. Stefano is a certified legend. A certified legend. So you're looking at US 30 as well.
Can I say
am.
something? Like 2 weeks ago, whenever you went over GJ, like I've got it wrote down here in my notes. You actually called that if GJ hit 155, 930, then sell. Like I just looked at it, and you called that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, that was. And I think I called another one this week as well. 1102. Yeah, this was also this week. I called oh no, that was a long position. I called that long position. I called the short position a little bit before that, but that was like a really, really early entry. It was the 156.75 for the shorts, which was up here. 0.75, that would have been right here. So we should have held that trade. $240 pips from that signal. But either way, it's a great trade running right now. Only thing I could see is because of how aggressive the trend is, I think it's going to push down a little bit more, make a shallow retracement, and then continue crashing. All right, so I wouldn't expect a deep retracement back up, which is normally what I do. For GJ, once it starts moving this aggressive, I'd look for a 50% or 38 retest, and then have this baby drop. Easy way to find some downside targets is to use your extension levels. So I'm going to show you how I use mine. So some downside targets for GBP, JPY would be 154.3, which is, it's basically 10 pips away from there right now. 153.7, and then there's downside targets after that. But that's where I'd be looking to secure partial profits, 154.3, and then 153.7. But you guys know me, I'm going to stick to US 30 and Nasdaq. Those are my babies. That is what I trade. Nasdaq is my primary pair. Oh, shit. Every time. Damn.
That's okay. It'll come back. It'll retest.
I know, bro. You already know what I'm thinking right now. Buy limit at that same zone. But it's like, it's nice to not have to catch the re-entry. It's nice to have caught the freaking entry because it just makes your life easier. Because the more time, the longer it consolidates around this zone, the less comfortable I am with a continuation. If it literally just stalls here and it just can't seem to break out, it's most likely going to come back down.
To be honest, I was looking at 36,085 because that's the 38.2. I think that'd be a shallow retracement for a continuation.
Yeah, but look at this flag. It already formed right here. Like we've already made this bull flag.
Yeah.
That sort of came down to retest. So giant pull, bull flag, continuation of the flag. The only thing is that we've already poked our head out. So we need a retest of 36,124. So let's do it, people. Trade one. This should have been the first thing I did when I opened up the chart or when I opened up the live stream. Just called this out because it was sitting right at, if you see the 4 hour, this is so clear. We had the first candle that looked like it was bearish, looked like it wanted to reverse back down, but the bullish momentum is so strong. And so I think it was Kai that was asking this earlier. Y'all got to really, y'all have to understand that if the candles, if the market is aggressively bullish, please just don't guess the top or the bottom. Don't say like, oh, it's already gone up so much, it has to come back down. The market doesn't have to do shit. The market will keep going until something happens. That's the whole point of a trend. A trend is it shows you the direction of the market, and the trend is going to continue until something gets in its way. It's physics. An object in motion will stay in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. An outside force being news or something big. So for this specifically, when you're looking at a specific trend, don't try to guess the top because, oh my God, it's so high. We're at all-time high. It has to come back down. Guys, we printed $3 trillion in the economy just last year. The markets don't have to come down ever. They will keep going up. And so that's kind of, that's my take on these trends and how aggressive they are. So this little short, this candlestick here that kind of made us think that the market was going to reverse got my attention. But then this doji that couldn't break the support, that made me realize that we were forming a floor here. This second candle should have been the entry, or at least put a buy limit at the very bottom so that we could have caught that. I'm not sure we'll even get a retest of this range. Maybe at the market open we will if the market's generous. But because of what Justin said, here's what I'm thinking. A buy limit here, stop loss has to be below the 38, Justin, just in case it does want to come down and grab that liquidity. Take profit is going to be the first extension level. Wow, I put that take profit there by accident, but that landed perfectly with that extension. So 36,260. This is about a 2.5 to 1 trade, risk and reward wise. We're looking to get 1,380 pips on the upside. We're going to be risking 566. Maybe a little bit less, maybe 540. All right. I'm tempted to put my stop loss tighter like this, but then that would mean that we'd have to re-enter if we got, wicked out of the trade. So instead of doing that, I want to put my trade, somewhere responsible where I give it room to breathe. So even if it wants to come down, form a wick right here and come back up, we can still stay in this trade. So this is pretty straightforward. Trade one, buy limits at 36,115. And I want to hear you guys' thoughts. What do you guys think about this trade? Does this trade make sense to you? Do you guys need to see more confirmations on this trade with your specific strategy? Just let me know in the chat what you guys are thinking, and just kind of see where y'all's heads at.
I think
Let's use the chat, guys. There's over 60 people on this call. I don't think everyone's gonna be able to unmute themselves. That's just not gonna work. It's just gonna get too crazy with the background noise and all this stuff. But just use the chat function. Let me see what you guys are thinking. I'll read out these entries. Said GBP pairs tanking. Yes, sir. Glad we're on the right side of that trade. I really think GJ is heading to test the monthly break of 152. My first target is 153. Like larger time frame. I want to see it come down to the 153 level, but do not forget that GJ is bullish on the higher time frame. GJ is bullish on the higher time frame. So this dip that's happening right now is going to give us a great opportunity for a swing trade. When we finally catch the buy, we can hold that thing and really, really milk these markets. Ben Coop says gold is pumping. Ben, good to see you, my guy. Said we got UK gang in the house. $36,070. So 30,450. So this is about 450 pips risk or 45 points of risk, depending on your broker. So what that means is if you're using a micro lot size, you're risking $45 on this trade. 1387. And I'll do TP1, TP2. TP1 is 36,190. And then TP2 is going to be 36,260. Let's put 250. And then TP3 is going to be open. So if you guys leave a runner, make sure that you just hold a runner and leave it going, because in a trending market like this, the market could break through all of our levels and continue. Very possible. That second TP is 1387. So if you guys are using a micro lot size, you'll be risking $45 on this trade to make $138. And the risk and reward for this trade is about 2.5 to 1. So for every 1% that you guys risk on your account, you'll be looking to make back 2.5 times that amount on the take profit level. All right. Any questions about this first trade? I'm about to input this in my MT4. If you guys could give me a quick sec. And just load up any more questions that you guys have so we can read them off. He said, I think US 30 will come back and take out the low of the day around 113 area and then buy. That matches what you said around 115 buy limit. Yeah, the reason that I don't, like, guys, I got precision entries. I have arguably what some might say the most precise entries. Stefano might disagree. We're going to have a talk about that. However, your broker doesn't give a shit. Your broker is only going to execute you if you are smart. And so if the actual limit is like, let's say it's at 110, because that's really where I think it is. I think it'll come and break through, hit the 110 just below that daily support, clear the lows and continue. I'm going to put it at 15, just so I make sure that my broker enters me in the trade, just so I make sure that I get executed in the trade. $16,210 for Nas. Let me get you those levels. All right, everybody cool on US 30 before we flip flop over to Nas? Okay. Nas, pretty straightforward. Here's my levels for Nasdaq. I'm going to be looking for a buy on either of these two. Now that we've set the buy limit for US 30, I don't really need to be looking at that. When it gets executed, I'm sure that you guys will let me know. Nasdaq is something I'm going to be watching pretty closely because of my market open strategy. Okay, so my strategy has always been, I try to take a trade pre-market between 8 to 9 a.m. Eastern time. If I don't find the pre-market trade, I'll try to catch, like, it'll push up during the market open, then smash down, and then we can catch the buys all the way back up. So that's usually like a market open strategy that I'll do, is I'll wait for the fake out to one direction, allow it to hit one of my key levels. Once it hits my key levels, I can take the trade for the, trade with the trend of the day. If I miss the pre-market move and the market open move, there's always an opportunity between 10 and let's say 12, between 10 a.m. and noon Eastern time, right after the New York session opens, to be able to catch those re-entries and get back in the markets. All right, I'm just reading. I'm reading this message real quick from Andy just to see when he's about to hop on. All right. So quick reminders. I know that the market's about to open in about an hour. We got probably 15 to 30 minutes before we see a very clear entry. Tomorrow's NFP, so we're probably going to get some really good moves to date that will set up for NFP tomorrow, or NFE, non-farm employment change. So we're going to give this about 15, 20 minutes to really set up. I want to show you guys some quick updates. FX Summit. If you guys are watching this at home, the FX Summit is going to be the first social Forex convention that's ever been hosted. If you guys have ever been to a Forex convention before, it's either been a networking event, like one of these pyramid scheme ones, or it's an institutional trading event where they bring a bunch of institutional players and they set up booths and stuff. This is the first social Forex event where all of your favorite traders, the IG traders, the YouTube traders, ourselves, and everybody in the community is going to be in one place interacting at the Miami Beach Convention Center in May of 2022. So I want to see all of you guys there. We have some very special institutional guests. We have some very special guests from the retail side, some of the traders that you guys love and you guys love to see. All the people that were on the world record breaking stream, they're all going to be at this convention. They're going to be doing a panel discussion together, which is like a seminar where they're all on stage talking to each other. And then there's going to be meet and greets, car shows, dinner after the conventions, cocktail hours, a chance for you guys to connect with all the traders in the industry. So this kind of event is something that you won't want to miss. Everybody in the shoe industry has the shoe conventions. Everybody in the comic books has the comic book conventions. Everybody in bodybuilding has the bodybuilding conventions. It's time for traders to be taken seriously. It's time for retail trading to be taken seriously as an industry. And this is why it's so important that we're hosting this convention, to really put a better brand on trading. Because right now, everybody who talks about trading thinks about this scam, pyramid scheme, I don't know what. So this is our chance to turn the tide. If you guys are interested, the link is FX Summit 2022. If you're on YouTube, I'm going to drop this in the link, or I'm going to drop this in the comments. But I highly recommend that if you are a trader, you do not want to miss that convention. It is the single most important convention for retail Forex trading that's ever been done. And it's going to be a great opportunity for you guys to meet everyone in the industry and to really connect. So can you go back to the US 30 trade? Sure. I do want to keep my eye on NAS. I feel like it's coming up on that entry pretty soon. So US 30 looking really, really good. We do want to see this rejection of these highs just so it can give us one more touch. Okay, I don't want it to give us too much trouble, but I do want to, come back at one more touch before we get entered in this trade. The likelihood of that, honestly, we'll just have to see how generous the market is. Okay, at the market open, I just want to see it fake back down to make everybody think it's going to sell. Retail traders start to exit their buy positions. Retail traders start selling because they think it's a double top. And then it starts to form a floor here. Then we pop off. That would be my best case scenario. Okay, so we're in this consolidation range. We're looking for a test because we buy low and we sell high. So we don't buy up here at the breakout. Buying the breakout is the easiest way for you guys to blow your accounts or to lose a trade, to lose a good trade. It's a very common retail mistake. It's something that we work on with our traders. You guys know that we do personal coaching at ChartAddicts. So we're constantly working on these like very nitty-gritty things with traders. And one of the things I see commonly is that people always want to buy breakouts. Or they want to buy the breakout, or they want to buy on the first test of the retest. Okay, like breakout trading. The problem with that is you enter a buy right now. Let's say that you guys entered a buy at that wick. All of a sudden, it's going to start to wick back down. Now, whoever entered on the breakout is in drawdown on this trade. And then if it comes all the way back to that better entry, you're going to be in so much drawdown, chances are that you'll close the trade. So as it starts to smash down, you'll close your good trade, and then it'll push up in your direction, and that's where the frustration happens. You got a horrible entry. You were forced, you weren't forced, but you felt the emotional need to close that entry up here because the drawdown became too much. And then all of a sudden it came down to the entry that you should have gotten, but because of the emotional involvement in the trade that you had and you're losing and the drawdown, you couldn't see clearly and you didn't enter that trade. And then all of a sudden that trade pushes up in your direction and you're left with this FOMO feeling of, damn, I was in a good trade and I let it go. And so maybe you start to chase the trade again and you enter up here only to get caught in another retracement. Who has had this happen to them? Where you're just trying to catch the move, you see the direction, but you keep entering at the wrong place. And because you do that, you're constantly closing good positions. Who has been in that position before? And the answer is everybody. Unless you're like the holy grail prodigy of prodigies, everyone has been there. We've all been there. It's not an embarrassing thing to admit. The only embarrassing thing is if you recognize that you're there and you keep doing it. That's freaking embarrassing. Okay, I don't know what to tell you. But if you don't know, then it's like a very common thing to do in trading where you finally understand analysis. You finally feel like you figure out what the market's going to do. You finally figure out the direction of the market and you're excited to jump in these trades. But the only thing that you haven't really mastered is your execution, your entry, and the patience to be able to wait for those better entries. And the emotional stability to not okay, here's the harsh reality. You guys ready? Is that if the market just starts to push up from here and we don't get in this trade, it's going to leave without us. It's going to run for 1,300 pips without us. I am perfectly okay with that. That is the emotional maturity that I've had to build over time with trading, is that if I don't get my entry, the entry that I need to have a comfortable, high probability position, I don't want to just be in a trade for the sake of being in the trade. I only want to be in a good quality position so I have less drawdown, less headache, and more likelihood to win. And so the next part is like, if you're going to be using a strategy where you're trying to find good entries, you have to be okay with the market leaving the station without you every once in a while. Now, you guys are in good hands. If the market does leave the station, I will call out a re-entry. Don't worry. But normally it's very responsible to accept the fact that the market could leave without you. And when you're setting these limits, you're not guaranteed to get that entry, but you're guaranteed to have a low risk, high probability position. Okay. He said, me, I've been there. Me, I have. Sadly, I've been there. That's me all the time. Well, this is where the tide shifts. Just ask yourself, where is the better entry? And here's a trick. This is about to change the game for a lot of people. Okay. If you guys don't do anything from this call, you guys can at least take this away. If you do want to enter this trade, okay, let's say that you wanted to enter this breakout trade and your stop loss is below these wicks or whatever. Here's a trick for you. If you're getting caught in this move every single time, start putting your entry where your stop loss is. No. You guys didn't hear what I said. If you're constantly losing, you're constantly getting your stop loss hit and the market is going your way, put your entry where your stop loss would be. I said, Roy, it can't be that simple. Well, a few of you guys are going to go try that out, and I'm going to get some messages in the next week or so like, dude, you won't understand what just happened. I used to enter the breakouts, and now I'm putting my entry where my stop loss was, and I'm getting entered in these precise trades. If you're constantly making retail mistakes, start trading like the institutions and put your stop loss where put your entry where the retail stop loss would normally be. So retail traders breaking through the trading through the breakout, I probably have their stop losses right below this previous consolidation. So I can expect that the market will come down, grab all their liquidity, smash through before we push up to the next level. He said, what entry where my SL is? Mind-blowing. Yep. If you're constantly getting your stop loss hit and the market moves your way, that is the easiest thing that you can do, is to start putting your stop loss or to start putting your entry where your stop loss is. Nas is retesting level. Nas. Guys. I saw it. Oh, man. See, this is why I don't do the 5-minute, 15-minute trading anymore, because I feel like if I blink, I miss the whole move. This 30-minute trading is so much better. All right. These candlesticks are not going to just completely flip in 30 minutes. It does take a little bit of time. So we're going to see how price reacts around this 190 zone. I think that if anyone, like, okay, I'm about to run to the restroom real quick just because, I really got to go. But if you guys want to scalp this right now, there's a scalp opportunity. As soon as it touches this line, it's going to make a wick up. You're going to get about 25, 30, 40 points here, just a quick wick. You can get in and out of that trade and just close it. Just close it completely. Wait for that real move to either dip down here or wait for a floor to form. Either not just one candlestick. I would like to see one candlestick reject. I'd like to see the next candlestick form a pin bar where the wick goes through the zone. And then the third candlestick will be my entry. You guys know exactly what I'm looking at. There's a short-term buy position that's going to happen here. If you guys are interested in scalping that, help yourself. If you're interested in waiting for the big move, then save your ammo and do that. Ladies and gents, I'll be back in like 15 seconds or probably like 60 seconds. All right. Andy, you're not on this call. You're not on this call yet, are you? All right, let me go through some of these YouTube comments. US 30 is a sell, reason why. Wick to the upside, looks like a top. Price has probability to go down and retest. Every single reason that this guy just noted is things that he thinks and not things that he sees. The most important thing is that you're not trading your opinion. You're trading what the market is giving you. US 30 is a sell because there's one wick to the upside, because it looks like a top. Okay, just because it looks like a top doesn't mean it is. Look at the market momentum and see how aggressive it is bullish. Price has a high probability to go down and retest. That's not a reason. That's just you putting your opinion on again. I have no idea why you're telling people to go long. Well, what's the direction of the market? The direction of US 30 is bullish, correct? Nothing about that previous 4-hour candle tells me that sellers are in control. Nothing at all. You see what I'm saying? The thing that hurts most traders is that they try to guess what the market's going to do as opposed to react. Okay, what we're trying to do by taking these entries is just react to what the market gives us. Reaction means, let's be very honest with ourselves. The market pushed up bullish, had a retracement. Pushed up bullish, now it's having a retracement. Then it's going to push up bullish, maybe get like 3/4 of the way, have a retracement, push up bullish. And so just trade with the direction of the market until it proves you wrong. If the market breaks this support level and it breaks this previous high, now we know that we're in bearish territory. Now we know that sellers have taken control of the market. But as long as we're creating higher highs, so this high is high, or this high is higher than this one, this high is higher than this one, the lows are getting higher. As long as the highs and lows are getting higher, the trend is going to continue. So trade what you see, not what you think. Biggest advice. Please look at NAS. It's going down. Leave US 30 alone. But y'all are clowning. So it seems clear that NAS 100 is reaching resistance zone. What's your thought on whether it will reach 16,300 before dropping, or is it the beginning of the downturn? All right, let's just get back to the regular schedule program. I don't know what half these people talk about. All right, here's that wick that I was talking about. This is like, those are like the quick in and out trades. Like if I'm really, really locked into the chart, I'll literally just sit here and play with the market. So I would have entered, and just look at the accuracy, guys. Just look at the accuracy. I would have entered off my zone. It's going to wick up a little bit. It's going to wick up a little bit. I'll close the trade completely, bag my wins, and then just walk away. So normally that's how I like to trade. And then the trades that I like to hold and the ones that I call for signals, they have something that meets a criteria. A lot of times I'm sending trades in the chat and people are like, Roy, why don't you call the signal? Why don't you call the signal? My signals criteria is so freaking specific because I'm not here to mess up my record. There are people that are depending on us to win these trades. And so I don't call out every trade that I see or every like little micro trade that I might take. I only take the ones that are high probability. And that's why I'm the GOAT. That's why my record is the way it is. So nobody has a signals record like me, except for maybe Omar and Stefano. It's a very close race. But it's because I have a very specific criteria and I don't break that. Now, when I scalp, I do like to scalp these positions. I would have, if I had entered at my actual zone, I'd probably be in break even at this point. Or I would have taken the entire profits from the trade. Doesn't seem like much, but just that push here is 48 points or 48 pips, sorry. So these are quick wins. These are quick wins. You just catch this wick. You catch that wick rejection, you get out. If the next candle breaks through, then at least you made money. If the next candle tries to break through and closes above, now you know that we have buys and we're looking to go long. So it's a 3-step confirmation for this specific trade. This just gave us our first confirmation. The candlestick rejected. Beautiful rejection. 65 pips, 70 pips, still climbing. The next candlestick that comes down is going to have to reject again at that zone just to prove that sellers tried to push down and they failed. And then the third candlestick will be the entry. All right, three confirmation, and I might go down to the 15-minute to find that. All right. Now, curious, did anyone take this scalp while I was in the bathroom? Quick 90 pips. He said, love that, Roy. Thanks for respecting us. Of course, man. Look, guys, at the very end of the day, I talk a lot of shit. Like, I say this all the time. I talk a lot of shit because that's my personality. I'm going to keep things honest with y'all. I'm not going to win personality contests. I'm not going to win a popularity contest. That's not my job. I'm here to make sure that y'all win. And sometimes, you know, I gotta get on my coach vibes. Sometimes I gotta, you know, like this whole week, I've basically just been talking my shit on these calls. You know, some people took it personal, some people didn't. Guys, it's not fucking personal. I'm your coach. I'm not sitting here like, oh, I hate this kid, I'm gonna make him run more than everybody. Like, no, I'm in the business of building champions. I'm in the business of becoming a champion, and that's all I want to do. And so if I'm getting aggressive, if I kind of talk my shit, if I tell y'all to focus on the right thing, if I tell y'all to stop, you know, worrying about this and to focus on this, it's only because I want you guys to win a championship in your own life, whatever that success is. So I'm here for y'all. I'm not doing this for myself. You guys know I can freaking trade. You guys know I can just sit here and like literally scalp Nas until I make 100K day. But it's a lot more fun when I get to give back. It's a lot more fun when I get to see other people succeed. And a great example of that is the new series that we just put out, Conversations with a ChartAddicts student. All right, there's over 65 of you guys on this call, or 61 of you guys on this call. I want to see every single student on that podcast. There is no limit. Guys, it's our freaking YouTube series. You can do whatever you want. I'll do 150 episodes. I'll do 500 episodes. So which one of you guys is going to be next? That's my take. I'm here to build champions. I want to see all of you guys succeed, and I want to see you guys get on this podcast and show the world what hard work, what dedication, and what desire can do. Show them that you don't have to be born special. Show them that you can put your head down and focus on something hard enough that you can actually get successful. Even though everyone says, oh, only 10% this and only some people win and all this stuff. Come on now. Beat the odds. That's the only game that we're in. And if I have to kick over a few chairs and kick some trash cans over as coach, just like Bianca's saying, I got to do it. I got to do it. They say only 10% of people succeed in trading. Yeah, all 10% of them are in ChartAddicts. This is where that number is coming from. He said, you're goated, bro. Finished top tier stage 2 today, and I'm up 1K on my funded account. Good job, David. I'm proud of you, brother. Says, I'll be on the show. Yeah, you will, LPB. Come on. Says, once I get off these 3 jobs, I want to be on the podcast. Milfrin, you got to schedule a one-on-one consult with me so we can build you a plan to walk away. Walking away from your job is possible, but you need clarity first. A lot of people are saying, I want to use trading to quit my job. I want to use trading to quit my job. But it's such a big task that people haven't really figured out what that means. If you're trying to quit your job, you have to figure out what is the number that I need to be able to replace my income. So that once you find that aggregated number to be able to replace your income, now you're actually on the right track to quitting your job. A lot of folks say, I just want to be successful one day, fingers crossed, and then I want to quit my job. That's not going to fucking happen. What you need to do is find out what is the number I need to be able to replace my income. How many months of income do I need to have saved up before I can walk away, and make that your primary goal. Your goal is to get $13,580 together so you can quit your job. Your goal is to get $23,586 together so that you can quit your job so you can get your wife off her feet. What is that aggregated number that you need? Make that the focal point of your success. And so when you're working, everything that you do, all the actions that you do are getting you closer to that number. So you're not here to trade to make money. You're not here to trade to hit a wick entry. Every action that you do needs to get you closer to that $23,000 that you're trying to make. So that's what you always have to ask yourself. You're about to take the next trade. You say, is taking the next trade going to help or hurt my chances of getting to that 23,000? Then you do this math. You say, well, I'm already up for the week. I probably shouldn't risk it back into the markets. If I want to make sure that I'm successful and if I want to make sure I hit that goal, I'll probably walk away. Those decisions, you have to think about them in context of your goal. And if you don't have a goal that's big, then it's going to be very hard to make good decisions. So find out what that number is if you want to quit. And I'm rooting for all of you guys, honestly. Said, here comes Andy. Mr. Peters, are you in the house?
What is up, guys? I'm here.
Good morning, Andy.
Good morning, man. How are y'all?
Blessed, man. Blessed.
I love it. How's everything this morning?
So far, so good. I'm waiting on 2 different entries. So I was just talking about this quick scalp right here, but I'm looking for price to hold support. Okay, so this is the London session consolidation. Basically, if we hold this support on the next 30-minute candle, we're buying this thing up. If it wants to dip lower, then we're buying it at 16,150. U30, we've already set a buy limit. This thing is just chilling. We set a buy limit at this support level right here.
Beautiful.
Now, I'm basically just looking for, market open, that whipsaw that happens, come down, tap us in, and then take us home.
Yeah, I say I've got basically what I'm looking at is very similar. I've got a zone marked up. If we were to break for sells at 36,130 to 36,128, and then I'm looking for buys, anything that's above the 36,158 to 36,157.
So you're kind of just like trading the consolidation right here.
Yeah, that's just how I trade. That's what I'm looking for, because we've got a beautiful, on the 30-minute, we've got a beautiful trend line right there at the bottom of it, for a nice bounce. So if we get that bounce, we're going to continue buying up, hands down.
Are you talking about this smaller time frame, this right here?
Yeah, that right there. Yep.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm kind of looking at the higher time frame. We're still in this consolidation range, and the way I look at it is I like breakout trading, because obviously once the market proves momentum is going, but I always want to catch a lower entry. I'm kind of greedy that way. I want to get that low entry where all these wicks are, because that's really the lowest drawdown entry.
Oh yeah.
So the one option is that push up, and then if it confirms the trend change, we can take another entry. Like if there's a nice flag right here, another entry. But ideally, I want to get it from down here. It pushes up. I can take partial profits where the entry should be, take partial profits again at this high, and then just leave that runner going.
It'll be a fun day.
Yeah, it will.
Hands down.
You said don't predict, react. That's all I know.
And that's all I do. And that's what I try to tell my group of people that we trade together. It's like if you keep trying to predict, you will end up ultimately losing your trades.
For sure. The market doesn't care about our imaginary lines on the screen. That's what I had to learn the hard way, because I was so obsessed with my technicals when I started. I was like, okay, as soon as I could find these good trades, now I'm in, now I'm going to make some money. The market is going to disrespect all the zones. So if you guys are watching at home, flexibility is one of the biggest skills you can learn, and just being adaptable. So if, let's say, the market just completely tanks out of the sky, okay, do I have the wherewithal to be able to react? So I'm going to wait for a few things. I'll see if we continue to hold resistance right here. Then we can take the short back down, or if we break back above support. So regardless of what the market does, we'll always be able to have that opportunity, to be able to make money, as long as we're flexible enough and we're not marrying these trades. So the chat's saying, good morning, Andy. Good morning, Andy Peters. He said, my son is going to be a chart addict.
I love it.
I love to see it.
Good morning, guys. I hope everyone has a great day and everyone is profitable.
Yes, sir. So market open is in about 30 minutes, y'all. We are going to see some craziness pre-market open around 9:30. And then it's going to either wick up and then down first, or the other way around. The market opens always have volatility. This is where they create the upside wick for the day and the downside wick for the day. They create sort of the daily range. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Pre-market open, it's going to test the daily range. If it pushes down, we'll get executed in this US 30. And the reason I'm keeping my eye on NAS is because this one, I want to take a manual entry. So Andy, how was that mansion event that
Dude,
you
it was
had?
amazing. It was freaking amazing. I was really hoping you'd get to make it.
Dude, I got hit with,
You're gonna have to the next one.
yeah, I completely blew my back out a couple weeks ago and I was in bed for a whole week. You can ask the guys here. I was canceling my consultations. I was not getting on calls, but I had already bought my ticket. I was sick. I really, really wanted to go. You can ask Omar. I was really trying to make it, but circumstances. It's the way it is.
It happens. It happens. Trust me, I've been there.
So on that entry from earlier this week for Nasdaq, when we called on the live stream, we're up 3,000 pips on that trade. I'm still holding like a micro runner. A micro runner. This thing's $300 on a micro. That's 3,000 pips. That's the only trade I'm still in. I should have held the full position now that I see it. So I'm going to give you guys my quick analysis as the market's forming. So we already have our structural zones, but we're also forming this local support right here. Local support right here. So if the market comes down and gives us a good entry at 190, the area that we would need to break to kind of prove that this thing is going bullish would be this next structural zone. All right. Now, if this candlestick closes above that zone, then it might just stall here. It really might just stall here before it pushes up. But what I usually do with the structural zones is I'll expect price to come down, give me a nice double bottom right here, get a great entry, risk and reward. My take profit is still 16,300. Okay, I don't want to cheap out on the stop loss. Really, it should be below this consolidation range, just in case price wants to come inside the range and then come back up. That's about 28 points, 287 pips. It's a little bit wide, but the risk and reward is there. So it's about 3.5 to 1. So if you guys are risking 1% on this trade, you're looking to make 3.5% back for that position. The first take profit levels would be this previous high. And so as soon as it gets up to that previous high, this is where we would take partial profits. That price level is 16,215. So I'll even put up the, let me get this video out of the way. $16,215 would be that take profit 1. And then as the market starts to break higher, we can take other positions. Or sorry, not take other positions, we can take other partial profits. So slightly different strategies on those two pairs. It's all the same. It's buy low, sell high. But when I'm looking at the indices, I'm always looking at very specific points here. The London session consolidation before the market opens is really important to me because the market will set the low and the highs. Okay. Then in New York session, we're either going to test those highs or test those lows of London before we continue the trend. This is something that everybody's got to learn. There's that pre-session consolidation. Then there's the push to the upside to kind of entice all the buyers to start jumping in. And then there's a retracement to the downside to come back and either hit break evens or hit stop losses, wherever they may be. And then there's a push in the true direction. And so I always see wherever that fake out is, 9 times out of 10, that's where the market ends up going for the day. Okay, that's the direction because it's trying to entice those buyers to jump in early. They start to jump in. All of a sudden, they're in drawdown. They're trying to convince the market that it's going to retrace back the other way. And then all of a sudden, the trend continues. So just look at low, high, potential higher low, potential higher high. That's kind of the trade that I'm looking at for Nasdaq. He said, I was gone for a minute. Did you put a limit on NAS or are you just looking to enter manually? I'm looking to enter manual. I'm looking to enter manual. Ben's been talking about gold.
Dude, gold was beautiful this week.
Yeah, it was.
We had so much fun on gold.
Yeah, we caught this short on the way down. And then I don't know if did you, like, I don't trade gold, but I know that Stefano does. Did you guys take another gold buy? The chart addicts in the Zoom call. Did you guys end up taking a gold buy, or did you guys just cash in on the sell and walk away? So Ben, for gold, we're coming up on this previous area right here. Buying, selling, and then we're going to come up here. It's about 1795, 1794.
That's
We
where
break
I got my
through that.
TP at.
That's your TP?
Yeah, so we took gold sells. We took gold sells because that's the daily rejection also where you drew that box. So we took our gold sells at 1794.
Right here?
Yep.
Oh, Jesus.
So we took gold sells at 1794 with a TP. Our TP was off though. So we had our TP set at 1757 and we barely missed our TP. So as soon as we missed our TP, we started getting a lot of 30-minute rejection candles at the bottom around that 1762.
Sheesh, you're about 10 pips out right here.
Yeah. So we were like, man, let's just go ahead and take the buys. So everyone yesterday, we just loaded up on buys and we said, we're going to run, our first TP to the 1782. And then we'll run our next TP to 1795. And if we can't hit 1795, just go ahead and cut it loose at 1788. So
Wow.
Yeah, if you look at one thing that gold does, anytime gold has a rejection, that becomes its TP. And anytime gold has support, that becomes its break. So the easiest way to trade gold is if your entry, so say you've got a buy entry, wherever your buy entry is will soon become your sells TP.
So if it sells back down here, then we would take TP right here?
Correct, yep. And then the second one becomes the other TP.
Beautiful. So just zone to zone trading?
That is all gold does, is zone to zone. Now, obviously, when you have news or a big breakout, your zones are completely shot. But we've been playing, I can look at my chart right now. We've been playing gold entry zones for buys and sells on the 30-minute since September 16th.
Sheesh. I mean, yeah, it looks, if you just look at these zones the way they are,
yeah,
they're all respecting and they're all like, it's all basically like breaking and retesting. So I kind of like to look at gold on the higher time frame.
Yeah, see, if you look at it on the daily, you'll see that rejection that it had right there on that box to a T.
Sheesh.
Yep.
Oh, that's the previous daily lows right here. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
So why'd you set it at 57 as your TP? So
57 on my TP. If you scroll back, let me get my chart unlocked here. If we scroll back, we had a super nice bounce on October 13th with a ton of consolidation that happened from October. Really, it went all the way back as far as September 30th.
I see what you're looking at.
Yep. So I was like, man, we're at least going to tap that. And it just I wasn't mad because obviously when you're trading,
I would have done this body right here.
Yeah. When you're trading gold and you're running at 358 pips, no one's mad about that.
At least they better not be.
Yeah.
380 pips. Come on.
Yeah. To miss it though, it sucked. But I told everyone on the call, if you want to go ahead and take it, let's take the buys. We've been rejecting now for, almost 6 hours. So.
Man, oh man. There's always going to be those trades that you miss, but there's like any good trade that comes in the market, especially like, let's take Nasdaq, for example. I caught the late end of this move, this giant push up, but I know a lot of people felt like they missed it. In all honesty, like there's always going to be another trade.
Oh yeah.
Right? So as long as we can just refine structure, we can trade inside of that structure, we're going to be good to go.
It's like yesterday. I wasn't mad, but I had to leave the house. I had a business meeting and appointment that I had to leave for around, I think it was like around 12:15, 12:30. And we'd had a solid morning. We called about, between all the trades, close to almost 600 pips. And I was like, all right, guys, we're out, blah, blah, blah. So I jump out and already had the US 30 and the NAS marked up for the break of buys. Already had them marked up, zones and everything. But I've got a rule. I don't trade from my phone. If I'm out at my computer, I don't trade from my phone because that's when I've had my biggest losses.
Wow.
And
Good
sure
rule.
enough, man, I'm just sitting there watching my alerts go off, and I'm like, "You've got to be kidding me." And I come back home, and when I look at our markups, I was like, "This was the cleanest buys we've had in US 30 and NAS that have taken off that big in weeks." And I wasn't home, you know. And I was like, "Damn it, you got to be kidding me." But like you said, there's always more days. That's the beautiful part.
For sure. I mean, would you rush home in that instance? Like, did you go home as soon as the alerts head off, or did you just finish what you got to do and then just head home?
Unfortunately, I couldn't. The business meeting that I was tied to was almost 45 minutes away from home, and
man.
I don't even carry a laptop around with me for trading because, again, I feel like that if I do that, I'm rushing it. I always say I have to be in my environment. So when I trade, I either have to be sitting at my desk. If we're traveling, I've got to be sitting at the hotel room. I hate to be just rushing my trades. I don't want to be that guy pulling over on the side of the road, with a laptop jumping in. I feel like that's not my mojo, because then it's like, what happens if the trade doesn't go my way? And
now you're pissed off in the middle of the road.
Yeah. Well, then I've got to react to it. And if I have to react to something and I'm not in my zone, it could turn, to be a dangerous trade. So.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, guys, look, who in the chat's been there? Who's been the pullover on the side of the road to take a trade person? Who's been
I've done it with crypto.
I've been there. I've definitely been there.
It's on one of my vlogs. Me and Noah were driving through Georgia, and we're driving, and I'm like, "Oh man." I was like, "Bro, Dent is about to go." And he said, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Dent's about to go. I got to pull over." So I pulled over on the side of the road. I dropped a couple of Bitcoin on it, and then thing just shot up and went through the roof.
Sheesh. He said a couple of Bitcoin. Whoa.
Yeah,
he said casually just dropped a couple of Bitcoin on the side of the road in Georgia.
It's on my vlog. It was an experience for sure.
Is it on your YouTube page, Andy Peters?
Yeah, it's on my YouTube page. People were driving down the road honking their horns because I'm out of the vehicle, bro. Like, I pulled over and I'm so like yelling and screaming. I'm out of the vehicle, walking on the shoulder of the road, because it was going crazy. We made it was like a 300-something% push in a matter of an hour and a half.
Wow. All right, so real quick on this U30, I'm not really sure we're gonna get another entry. It already gave us like 15 chances to enter down here. I think that the entry was probably 30 minutes before we got on the call. Right now, I'm thinking it's just going to start to make this push to the upside. And so a closure where it fills these wicks, that would signify a push to the upside. Like this candlestick that's forming right now, if it closes above these wicks, then it's most likely going to head to this target. So it's heading to the upside of that buy zone. I don't trade breakouts. The only manual trade I would take on this is if it breaks the zone and then comes back to form a retest. So for example, if we break this consolidation zone, hit this previous high, come back and wick, then I could take that trade. I would need multiple wicks here, like at least 2, before I took that trade, because most likely, that's what I've seen in the past. We push up, it makes like a little weak push, and then it breaks in. So I don't want to get caught in that. So what I do is I wait for that break, I wait for multiple confirmation, and then we can take that long to the upside. And everyone is calling for sells on US 30. Just look at the daily trend. Nothing about this daily trend shows that sellers are in the market. The only thing that shows is that sellers tried to push the market down, but buyers held their ground. And as long as buyers are holding their ground, it's a buyer's market. Okay, so NAS is respecting that local support that formed. I'm really hoping that we get a good entry for a retest here.
A lot of people, because I've been in a few, I'm kind of like a guest, got a few telegrams, and we were on a call early this morning. That's why I went to bed early last night, talking about, if the stock market as a whole could sell off. And, I said the same thing. The buying pressure is extremely strong. The only thing that we've got in our favor for looking for sells is that President Biden and a few other people in Congress are now making it to where if Americans aren't vaccinated, then their death benefits would not be paid out to the family. So that hit the news press this morning, that if you were to die of COVID and you were unvaccinated, then you would not get your death benefits. And it's actually a headline on CNN. You can go to CNN right now. It's pretty wild.
Unvaccinated don't count. That is insane. That's not going to pass.
Yeah. So
It's up to the
yeah.
insurance companies. The
Yeah.
insurance company stipulations when you sign your insurance contract with them stipulates under what conditions you can get the death benefit. If they want to add a stipulation, you have to re-sign your. They're going to have to ask you to like to re-sign it if they change anything in your contract.
It's crazy, and all they're trying to do is make it to where they're penalizing the insurance companies. So
Yep. In terms of
actually, it's more of the benefits that would be coming from like federal workers and stuff like that, not necessarily your insurance company. So let's say you're a federal worker.
So your pension benefits.
Correct. Yeah. So
shit. That's criminal. That's evil.
Yeah. So like OSHA and CMS are already working with the administration on it.
So all right. Fingers crossed that doesn't pass. Things like that aren't that popular because like the everyone's going to get hurt. Republicans and Democratic constituents get hurt by that. And so it just depends on the voting district, how they pass those things. When it comes to the indices, I tell everyone to focus on the three main factors, which is GDP, employment, and interest rates.
Yep.
So the interest rates, they've been talking about raising interest rates next year. We are going to see a massive crash there. Andy, you know that once the party is done, once they take the punch bowl away, it's not going to be pretty.
Oh, dude, it's going to be nasty. You start taking those interest rates and throwing them up with where we're already at.
I'm betting they're going to have to raise more than they intend to. He says we're only going to raise once. I think they're going to have to raise twice or three times to react to what the market conditions are. And I think they're going to send us spiraling into a recession if they do that. Because the market's going to force their hand to raise the interest rates. They're going to raise them, and that's going to send us into a recession because the markets will crash. But what I do think is, I think that the market participants are going to juice as much as they can out of these markets until then. Well, because there's still free credit flowing around the economy. Earnings, Christmas is coming around. The holidays are coming around. And so earnings are about to go through the roof. Stocks usually do really well when earnings season is positive. So I think all this up until Q1 of next year, we're going to see positive market. And then around Q2 of next year, we're going to see a massive crash. That should coincide with the massive crypto pump I'm expecting in Q2 of next year. Just a quick fundamental insight for you guys at home.
Yeah, and I agree 100% with you on that, man.
Because it's like, that's the punch bowl. That's every institution is borrowing billions and billions of dollars of free credit. And they're getting handouts and they're getting these government assistance and all this stuff. And instead of hiring more people, raising the minimum wage inside of their companies, doing better pension plans, instead they're buying back stock, the old playbook. And when you buy back your own stock, the stock prices go up and then the indexes go up. So as all this money keeps sloshing, like finally finishes sloshing around the economy and inflation really hits, inflation affects the markets too. And it affects the price of the index. So I'm very bullish, very, very bullish. If we see some news tomorrow from the NFP that's extremely negative, we'll see a short-term crash. But any short-term crash, we just buy the next week. I'm like, okay, I'll just come back next week and buy it up. So market open, 15 minutes. Expect those whipsaws at the market open. If you guys don't trade indices and you guys don't trade market open, this is going to be very interesting for you guys to get a quick peek on how prices move at the 9:30 market open. So I'm going to keep my focus on NAS. We already have the buy limit set on U30. If anyone does see an opportunity on US 30, just call it out in the chat. And I'm going to go through some of these YouTube comments real quick. First off, you guys are watching at home. Let me know one takeaway that you guys have had from this call. So obviously, guys, we're here to make money. It only takes one good trade for us to make money. But I want to see if you guys are taking something away. So let me know if you guys took anything away from what I said, anything away from what Andy was explaining on the charts, anything about the trades that we're looking at, anything about what we were explaining in terms of trends, fundamentals. Give me one thing that you guys have picked up on during this live stream. Andy's in the YouTube said, "What's up, guys?" So where was that buy limit on 30? It was at 115. 36, 115. Nasdaq still respecting this local structure, is testing it as resistance, so it's going to push down one time. If we hold again at this level, that's going to be our buying zone. If we break straight through, then we'll look to buy at 36, 170. He said, trade the momentum. I trade the trend. I trade the trend. If the momentum is against the trend and it's very aggressive, I'll usually stay away. But the momentum right now is like a, starting to push. But the trend is overall bullish. I'm waiting for the dip. We're going to buy the dip. Brian says, last night I sold EJ at 32.4, TP 31. Now on a buy. Good stuff. It says, plan your trades and trade your plan. What a magic formula. What a magic formula. Why do most people lose in trading, guys? Tell me, why do most people lose in trading?
They over leverage and they want to be right.
There we go. They want to be right more than they want to make money.
I've had people, bro. I watched a guy about 4 weeks ago blow a $386,000 account with me on the Zoom because he wanted to be right. He did not want to see a loss. He did not want to be wrong in that trade, and that was the only reason he lost, because he was holding trades that he had been holding for months on top of months. And I'm like, bro, cut it loose. Cut it loose. You can't win this trade. He was like, bet, watch me. I'll do it, bro. I'll do it. You don't know how long I've been trading. I got this. I'm like, okay, that's
oh my God.
I'm telling you, it's not going to work out the way you want it to. He's like, all right, you'll see. Bro, it never turned around.
This goes back to a lesson I learned from Ted. This was like 2 or 3 years ago when I first started talking to Ted. He said, what was that phrase? Oh, he said, leverage is not a function of confidence. It's a function of capital.
Yep.
So a lot of people think that, okay, one day I'm going to get so confident in my trades, I can just over leverage my whole account. And that's why they, 4 or 5 years into trading, they're still up and down, blowing different sized accounts. Yep. They don't realize that the position sizing that you're using is a function of how much money you have in the account, not how much confidence you have in your trading. That's like the fallacy for a lot of new traders.
Yep. And I mean, I'll do it. I tell people all the time, I mean, there's times where I'm completely over leveraged, but I'm also doing it for fun. Like I'll just open up a $5,000 or $10,000 account and say, let's just gamble. I'm a gambling guy at heart. I love to gamble. So I love doing that from time to time because it's fun. But I would never in a million years take my true, real big account and go, all right, guys, let's YOLO this thing, 100 lots. Let's see what happens. There's no way. No way.
Respect your money, respect your capital, but also understand the game. Like if you want to do some gambling and you're like, okay, well, I can go to a casino or I can just gamble with this account with a better strategy. That's your take. Just accept the risk. But on the main account, everyone's got to respect their capital. Y'all worked hard for it. Y'all worked hard for that money. You cannot get the time back that y'all traded for that money. So I'd respect that money as if it was your time.
And if you want to truly gamble, then go open up a funded account.
Or go to Hard Rock. Leave the trading for because I feel like if you get in the habit of gambling with an account, it might bleed into your other accounts. I kind of like to treat trading like sacrilegious or sanctimonial, whatever the word is.
Yeah,
real holy.
And it will bleed into your other accounts if you start winning. That's what happens. And we've seen those traders. We've seen those traders where they have gambled their accounts and they've made stupid money, and then they keep trying to do that, and they'll end up failing overall.
Yep.
And, someone just mentioned in the chat, it's crazy how Anthony drops in Q, 100 to 200 lots. But one thing we have to remember is when they do that, they openly admit that they're gambling that $100, not gambling, but they're opening up $100,000 account or a $20,000 account to play with it.
Mm-hmm. They know their risk. They know their risk.
Yeah. They're literally saying, if I was trading this on my real account, I would be risking $20,000 per this trade anyway. So I'm going to open up an account and put in 20K or 100K, and then I'm going to show people what can be done with it. You know,
100%.
trust me, they're not taking their real accounts that's got millions of dollars in it and throwing 1,000 lots on it.
For sure.
They treat their real accounts how real people treat investments.
That's awesome. That's a really awesome distinction. So I hope everybody heard what he said. Like if you do have those tendencies, or you do want to play that game, open a separate account for it. And don't kid yourself and tell yourself that you're trading when you're actually gambling the account, but like, just accept it and trade that account the way you want. That's why having two accounts is a pretty smart way to do it. Because then if you do have the urge to like, see what happens, or you do want to like try something, you could try it on like a tester account. But the main account should not be any type of figuring stuff out, any type of trying new stuff. It should just be rinse and repeat, do what works. You have those tendencies. Now we are almost at entry and we're 7 minutes away from the market open. There's going to be a great trade here for us. I know we're going to catch it. I just can't, I can't wait to see what it is. This is don't predict, react.
So someone had said on here, they're like Andy at the Pit Mansion, sell. So I did when we were at the Pit Mansion. I love trading all-time highs for sells always. I trade that with about any pair. As soon as we see an all-time high, I click sell on the daily. And sometimes it's a very small scalp, and then I'll just protect my entry. That way, if I get knocked out, I get knocked out in profit. But yeah, I did. I dropped 15 lots on US 30 on the daily sell.
Jesus Christ, Andy.
Yeah, in front of like 30 something people. It was pretty freaking wild.
That's insane. So would you have, okay, so since we're in all-time highs, would you have taken these shorts or no?
If I would have been awake, probably yes. But that daily short right there, when we opened up that new daily with that wick, I ended up missing that one.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm all about the all-time highs, and that's how I trade like ECAD and a few of these others.
Okay. So when you see them in like empty territory, you're kind of just like, okay, market's not comfortable here. It's probably going to turn back around.
Yeah, and I risk very, at first I risk a very, very small entry. So like if I'm trading a Forex pair, I'll enter in with one standard, and as soon as I get in about probably 15 to 20 pips in profit, I'll protect, and then I'll drop a half a standard above it.
So you'll start scaling in after you're already in the trade?
Yep.
Okay. So what do you think about that? Whereas like, let's say that we did take a buy, and if the market, so that we took a buy down here and the market pushes up, would you look for a retest to take that next entry, or would you wait for it to come back to this area of structure? Like, how do you scale into these trades?
I'd wait for a retest for sure. So like if I was in buys down there at the bottom, where that 30-minute candle is hitting that zone right now, as soon as we get a new 30-minute candle open, if we can push bullish and we do not fall below that line, I'll just draw like a horizontal line wherever the candle opens, and I'll just push buy. Yep, bam. And then
this is why I had the entry here. This is like, I really feel like, because it's the market open now, this thing could flip in a heartbeat. So I want to see it push through this real quick and then wick back up. If it does that, we're entering buys real quick. If it just tries to fake under and then breaks back above that trend line and above that support level, that'd be awesome. But I do like that what you said, which is, let's say we caught an entry down here. If it comes up and retests here, then I could protect this bottom entry and then just enter up here.
be beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
And I didn't even look. Do we have any news coming out today?
Not a lot of dollar news. We have NFP tomorrow, or NFE tomorrow.
Yeah.
Non-farm employment, but the pre-numbers already came out Wednesday. They came out positive. So we're expecting positive numbers tomorrow. There was a whole bunch of GBP news. That's why we caught that GJ short. GBP's crashed out of the sky. And then tomorrow we have average hourly earnings and non-farm employment change. Oh, and the unemployment rate. Oh, and the Treasury currency report. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, tomorrow's gonna be fun.
Tomorrow is going to be wild.
I'm shorting 50 lots on everything. Let's go. YOLO.
YOLO. Risk it for the biscuit. I really want to take a long position on this now. I want to take a long position, but I at least want to wait until 9:30.
Yeah, it just retested that zone at the 36127 and just gave us a wick right there.
36127 right here. Yep. I just want it to come down, liquidate us in this trade, and then it can push up. It can do whatever it wants. This Nasdaq, I might put half a position in right now, guys. I might put 0.5% in right now, and then on the retest, I'll put the other 0.5%. So at the market open, I'm looking to put 0.5%, and then at the market open, if it comes down, fakes up, or fakes down, sorry, and then closes back above that support, I'm going to enter the other 0.5% right there on the break back in. All right, so let's give it about 2 minutes until the market opens, and then we will react to whatever happens. Oh, U30. U30, a lot of wicks to the upside. Not looking too hot. It just got to hold that support level. Not asking for too much. He said NAS and US 30 major shorts. It's possible, guys. Look, it's possible. I see that we're at all-time highs. I see that we're slowing down, but look at the daily trend, right? Trade with the trend. If the market violates this support right here, then yeah, the market has a lot of downside potential. But as long as we're creating higher lows, I'm just going to trade with the trend. And if I'm wrong, then I'll take the other side, but I'm not going to sit here and guess. I just want to trade with the direction of the market.
Well, and to be honest, there are shorts and there's longs every which direction. So people that are watching the YouTube video and that are, on this have to remember that there's shorts available and there's longs available. It's what is your plan and what is your gameplay? And I like what Rory says, he will enter shorts if it breaks those lower zones, because then it's confirmation that we're going to short. Mm-hmm. Taking a short right now is a good short and you could protect it and you may win. However, you're shorting into a consolidation area, and shorting into consolidation means just that. You're shorting into consolidation.
For sure. So here's that market open. We're getting a little bit of a sell. So two things are going to happen. This candlestick wicks back above support, in which case we enter the longs, or the candlestick makes it down to this structural area, and then we can look for longs from here.
And what's wild is it literally bounced. It touched the 36127 and the 36156 in one candle.
Did it hit our no, it didn't even hit our limit yet. We good.
It literally in one candle touched that. That's amazing. I love it.
That's the market open. That's the whipsaw, guys. 9:30 a.m. every morning. It's going to retest the London session high and the London session low. And then whichever one it decides to hold at, that's the trend of the day. So right now, the trade that I'm looking for is buys at 16,167. If there's no rejection here, if it completely breaks through, then do not enter the trade. Don't just blindly enter the trade. But if we do respect that zone, then I'm going to be looking to enter that trade. Oop, there's that rejection. I'm going to scale down to the smaller time frames and just see how price is reacting over here. U30 is about 150 pips away from entry. NAS 100. It's still floating around our potential entry zone. I just need to see some kind of confirmation before we jump in these trades. One thing I'm seeing right here is if we do take this buy, the first take profit's got to be this right here, because this could form a head and shoulders, shoulder, head, right shoulder right here. So it could push up, and if it wants to drop, it could drop from here. But at least we can get this move here between 167, 187, about 200 pips.
US 30 trigger, guys.
We're in? Ooh, we are in. Ooh, let's go. Quick wick down. Quick wick down. Beautiful. Now a little bit of patience with that. It's going to play around the entry for a sec. A little bit of patience. Oh, Nas is closing back above the zone. So I'm going to scale down to the 15-minute. If the 15-minute closes bullish above that zone, that's where I'll take a buy. If the market wants to keep pushing down to this next zone, that's where I'll take an entry. But so far, respecting all the zones, guys. So far, respecting all the zones. This is exactly what we were looking for. This is exactly what we were looking for, is that fake to the downside. And as long as we hold right there, that's the trade. Now we have to hold, meaning that the candlestick has to close and print above that support level. But that zone is the entry zone. Damn, US 30 ran straight through that support. Sheesh. All right, I'm not going to close this in negative. If you guys do want to close this, what I would do is I would wait for that retracement back up, and you guys can close this trade. I'm still bullish. I know that we're retracing, but I know that these candles can flip up in a heartbeat, and the trend is still bullish. So I'm going to hold this trade. If you guys want to close that trade, then I would basically wait for a retracement back up to that zone. Oof. And prices are running. A little bit of patience. A little bit of patience to get us paid. No trades on Nasdaq just yet. Still waiting for that entry. So we're about 10 points away from entry. We're retracing all the way back up, and we are officially right back at entry. If anyone is not comfortable with this trade, now would be your chance to close. If you guys are real ones and you accepted your risk before you entered the trade, like you should have, then just hold this and let's see if we get a flip back to the upside. All right. Market open always provides these whipsaw opportunities, but as long as the market respects support levels, then we know our play. We're going to keep buying. All right, Nas needs a little bit of time because I do need to see these candlesticks close before we get in this trade. Or I might, honestly, I might enter 0.5% risk right now and then enter the other half at the closure. I'll give it 5 more minutes. If anyone wants to enter this trade with a 0.5%, it'd be basically the same parameters. We'd be entering right now at 192. The stop loss would be at 160, 160. And so if you guys want to wait for the closure, that would be the higher probability trade. If you guys want to enter 0.5%, then I would look for that. Someone said that US 30 hit stop loss. Did US 30 hit stop loss for you guys?
No.
No, I'm still in. It came pretty freaking close.
It did for me.
It came really, really freaking close. What broker are you using?
FTMO.
Well, that don't make no sense. You put it at 70?
Yeah, FPMO 70 hit stop loss.
Oh my God.
Dude, I'm on FTMO with the fund that I got on. I didn't hit. I don't know.
Yeah, same.
FTMO runs different than TradingView prices. It's like 20 points different, something like that.
Oh, there could be a price difference. You guys look at the current price right now, 36,120. What is it reading on FTMO?
It's 36,110, Louis.
Okay,
Yeah,
so there's about a 10
36,
point difference.
110 too.
Jesus, guys, make sure that you're looking at the current price when I'm calling them out on TradingView, and make sure that you're relating it to your price chart or to your MetaTrader. Make sure the prices line up. If there's a 10 pip or a 10 point difference, make sure that you guys are setting that 10 point difference. So stop loss instead of 3670 should have been 3660. Oof. There's that NAS buy. So I'm gonna go in 0.5%. So trade number 2 is the Nasdaq buys. Stop loss 16,160. Take profit. TP1 is 16,216. TP2 is 16,300. So I've only put half a position in. I'm not putting the whole position. After we get a closure and a retest, that's when I'll start to scale in more positions. But for now, I just want to put in something just in case the market leaves the station. I want to have at least some position running at this low price. But I don't want to put the whole position because if we do get a better entry down here, I want to have enough ammo on the sidelines that I can get back in. If I use up all my percentages on one trade or on the first entry, I won't have any ammo to re-enter the market with. He said FX Grow didn't hit 38.2 rejection. So this is trade number 2. And I'm sorry to hear that, guys. I'm really sorry to hear about the FTMO guys. The stop loss got hit because it retraced all the way back to entry. So if anybody wanted to get out of that trade, you would have had a chance. And if you guys wanted to hold. So there's 2 options here if you guys want to re-enter. If the candlesticks close above that support, you can enter in on a retest. Or if you guys want to set a buy limit down at this wick, I think that would also make sense. 3680. It would wick down, activate you in that position. Or if the candlestick closes above, you wait for the next candle to retest, then you can catch that entry at 36,120. All right, those are potential re-entry opportunities. We've already had, like I said, guys, if the trend is aggressive, this is everything that we talked about education-wise at the beginning, we're getting to see here. Giant bullish push, a retracement back down to the 38%. And like I said, the more aggressive the momentum of the trend, the more shallow the retracement is going to be. It's only going to be 20 to 30% before the market continues. And that's exactly what we saw here. We have a very aggressive trend. We had a retracement level down to the 38. Our entry was a little bit premature, I admit, but the stop loss placement, as far as my knowledge, was good enough for this trade. And that's basically, that's the whole trade. We had that break, retest. It's going to play around here before we push up. But as long as we're creating higher lows, we're in the bag.
US 30N has all profit, bro.
Why you sound surprised?
Nah, man, come on. I'm not surprised.
I'm messing with you. Guys, we do this. I literally say we catch 600 to 800 pips every single session. I know that it's not always pretty. It's not always polished. Some trades might not go exactly the way that we want, but we do this. I'm not here shooting at the wall. Now, if there's some news that comes out that kind of like messes with the trade, don't look at me. I just work here. All right. So I'll send this out to the members. All right, now we're back in profit about 15 points on US 30. If you guys want to take some partials or do whatever you guys wanted, it's your account. I'm personally holding. I want to give this trade a chance to play out. All right, so we got to give those a second to grow. We got to give those a second to play out. I'm going to do some quick plugs. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching this on YouTube, we have 2 YouTube series that just came out. The first one is Conversations with a Student, our very own David Takala, the person who helps us. He's actually our videographer. He's our chief videographer for ChartAddicts. He's the one that's edited all your favorite videos. The podcast with Andy and myself, David was the one that edited it. The podcast with Anthony, the podcast with James and Q, the world record breaking stream, when we were out there in the street teaching people how to trade, David was the one who basically was the brains behind that operation. But he also started trading seriously about a year ago. And he's gotten funded through FTMO. He got his first withdrawal from FTMO. And then now he's successfully implementing that account. If you guys are at the phase where you're trying to get successful with funding, I would highly recommend going to check out this episode. Just to be able to go get in the mind of someone who's closer to you. It's really easy to look at the Lambos and to look at all the things and be like, oh, I want to get there. But really, guys, you have to look at the first step. What's the first step for you? Get funded and get your first withdrawal, right? So what do you need to do to get there? And so listening to David will allow you to understand what he had to go through to go from blowing accounts a year ago to being successful. That conversation with a student, that's going to be a weekly thing. And I want to see every ChartAddicts student on this podcast. And then the other series that we just started is the trades of the week. And so if these trades slap, they'll be on there for trades of the week. Even if they don't, I'll probably just put them on there as a dud. And so if you guys want to check out those series, highly recommend trades of the week. You get to see how we trade and our top hitters for the week, and conversations with a student where we get to showcase the growth of a lot of the students. All right, so Nasdaq is up a bag. US 30 is still sitting around break even. So just to kind of show you guys the profits, I'm going to turn my camera back on. Let me know if you guys can see my camera. Here's the trades that I'm currently involved in. So that Nasdaq is running like crazy, sort of carrying the account. So yeah, I mean, honestly, guys, I'm pretty happy with the way that this trade turned out. It did exactly like we said, right? Let me know in the chats if you guys saw us call this. You guys saw us call. I wanted to wait for one candle to close. I wanted to wait for another candle to stop. And I want to wait for one candle to fake down in the middle of the range, which is why our stop loss was down here. You guys saw that whole thing, right? Am I making this up?
Everyone's being quiet. Come on, guys.
I feel like nobody's making
Exactly
money.
that.
Dude, I'm just looking at my
Exactly
trades, bro.
Exactly that.
Bro, we're just speechless, man. We're speechless.
How many pips we up? Yeah, I promised you guys 500 pips.
Like
so let's see what
200.
we're at. We're at 419 right now. We're at 436. We got 70 pips away, and I would have fulfilled my promise to you guys. So here's what I do, guys. First candle pops up. I'm going to secure 70% of my position, 7-0, because I always want to walk away with money. A lot of you guys don't walk away with money from these streams because you're always just holding for a TP that may or may not get hit. I've closed the majority of my trade. I get to walk away with $1,000. This runner that I have running could go for another $1,000 or $2,000. So that's kind of how I play this game. I'm about to move my stop loss and break even. The trade is risk-free. I've walked away with money, and I'm done for the day. It's barely 10 a.m. So do you guys understand like the process that you go through as a trader? You basically just try to find a good trade. Waiting for it might take an hour or two, like watching paint dry. The trade itself might hit in, 10, 15 minutes. Your ability to walk away with money is the last piece of the puzzle. You sit at the casino, you're at the blackjack table, you're hitting hand after hand after hand after hand after hand, but you just stay at that table and you give it all back. That's a gambler. Or you show up to the casino, you're at the blackjack table, you hit hand after hand after hand after hand, and you're like, shit, I made a lot of money, I'm walking away. And the casino hates you and they got that bitter taste in their mouth when they're cashing out your chips, just like your broker will. So show of hands, YouTube and Zoom, who is in this trade, and we hit 500 pips. I did my job. U30 though, U30 is in a bit of drawdown. I would hold U30 because it loves to do this. It loves to lag behind NAS. It loves to make itself look like it's going to go bearish. And then it loves to basically just consolidate at that entry before it pops up. So I want to give it a chance, win or lose. I got to give U30 a chance. Higher time frame, baby. Higher time frame. So going through the Zoom. He said, blessed to be here. I'm at break even, up 30, bagged half. Good stuff. Are you looking at US 30? Yeah, I'm looking at it. There's a chance to cut your losses. So if you're up, like let's say that you made $1,000 on NAS, but you're negative 150 or 200 on US 30. Like you could wait for US 30 to play out, or you can dead that US 30 trade and walk away with your profits on NAS. The best traders do not catch every trade. The best traders just know how to make money. And if you've already made money on one pair, you can limit your loss and cut your losers on another pair. You don't need US 30 to make money because you've already done it on Nasdaq. So that's kind of the way that I would think about trading. If you guys are, a lot of you guys are experienced, so I'm not really talking to you. You guys know how to structure your risk. You guys know how to accept the risk on all these trades. This is more so for the new folks. I wouldn't try to jump in every single trade.
And for you guys that were listening to me earlier talk about my TP on gold at 17.95, we've missed it by 3/4 of a pip.
Stop.
I'm dead serious.
No
3/4 of a
way.
pip.
Where'd my zones go? I had that 17.95 right here.
Pip.
No, that's insane, Andy. Hold on. I'm on the 5 minute here. I'm on the 5 minute here, people.
Yeah, go to the 1 minute. And
This is that. Nah, that's unreal. No freaking way.
Yeah.
I gotta make this accurate. Hold on.
Yeah, look at that.
No. Do you guys see this is the 1 minute chart?
Yep, you can't make that up, bro.
That's a pipette.
Not even a full pip.
It's half of a pip.
Yeah. But plus side is if you're trading on Carbon Capital, it hits your TP because of the spread.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Spread ended up pushing it up just a tad. So it took you out.
I might have to move over to Carbon Capital. I might have to start trading with you, Andy.
It took you out of the trade. So we're solid. I still got faith though.
Andy, tell him what are the best benefits of trading with Carbon Capital? What are the biggest benefits you get by trading with Carbon Capital? Which is a brokerage, by the way, in case you guys are wondering.
I tell people this: there's amazing brokers out there. I like Carbon Capital because one, I like the spreads, I like the conditions. I like the fact that they don't use B-Book software. So if you're familiar with B-Book software, then you're familiar with how that can play out in trades with stop losses and market open gaps and things of that nature. So, I'm a fan of the A-Book side of it. And I personally know, the people behind the broker that have started it up. So I've got a lot of money parked there. So I trust them. When I was on my Zoom the other day with some of my members on my Discord, and when they heard and saw how much money I had parked there, they were kind of blown away. They were like, you actually trust that much money sitting in someone else's hands? I was like, yeah.
That's the big question.
Yeah. When you know the team, you can. And payouts, I took out a 200, and by the time I got the money, it was like 214K. I made a withdrawal. It was at night time. It was on a Sunday night. And within about probably, I would say 30 to 35 minutes, It had been processed, approved, and was in my crypto wallet all within that time.
Wow. So if you guys don't know, like these large withdrawals, they take a lot of time. Sometimes they'll ask you for like 5 steps of verification, statements, and all this stuff to get it through. That's awesome, Andy. And you said you know the owners personally?
I do.
Okay. So if you're putting your name behind it, I trust it, honestly.
Yeah, I put my name behind it big time.
Done deal. All right. So if you guys are looking for a broker, try out Carbon Capital. I personally don't use them yet. And so I don't have my personal experience, but you guys have heard it from Andy. If you guys want to check it out for yourselves, it's recommended. If Andy recommends it, I trust it.
Thank you, Roy. I appreciate that, man.
Of course, brother. When you built that trust, guys. We just hit 600 pips. Can we at least get some noise in the chat? Like, I know that US 30 is at break even. I get it. If y'all still stressing over US 30, just close the damn trade. But who's in this Nasdaq? Come on. It's 630 pips. And we're at 600.
He said if you're stressing this trade.
Yes. Andy, I know my people. I know my people.
But and I say the same thing though, because people won't look at their whole portfolio. It's like the other day, we were taking just tons of trades. And, so I had some trades that were negative, like $2,000 and $3,000. I had some trades that were positive $3,000 and $4,000. And at the end of the day, it's like, if your total number at the top of your screen is blue, go ahead and close out of all the trades because you're positive.
Yep.
Don't sit there and close out of the winning trades and then leave the losing trades because you're stressing about it. If your top number is blue, close out, be done with it.
Say that again. No, seriously, like that's Can you say that again?
Yeah. If your top number is blue, close out of the trades. It doesn't care if you have losers. And that's what stresses people out. They're like, well, I don't want to show my friends my portfolio and them see that I lost because then they think I'm going to suck. It's like,
what is this, show and tell?
I would love for one of my friends to tell me that I suck at trading because I showed them a $20,000 loss, yet I'm showing them over $100,000 to $200,000 worth of wins in a month. I would love for that friend to tell me I suck. That's part of trading. You're going to lose. You're going to lose.
Yes. My favorite part is where people get discouraged about losses and they're like, oh, but this trade lost, and they keep stressing over the losses. Guys, losses are a normal part of your week. It's the way it goes. Like if I pulled up my week right now, you will see a lot of winners. You'll see a few losers, right? You'll see a couple losers. Just make sure that your winners are bigger than your losers.
Yep.
Right. You'll see some reds, and it's the cost of trade. It's the cost of doing business, right? So if I wanted to enter this NAS trade, the only way that I'm able to enter the markets is if I have to pay the piper. I have to enter the trade. I have to put money on the I have to put money on the table. And so if you guys have to accept the risk of trading, really accept that you're putting money on the line to make money. And as long as you guys have that realistic perspective, you're not really worrying about what the trade is doing because you've already accepted your risk. We just broke 700 pips, 720 pips, 730 pips on NAS 100. People, I want to see the YouTube go crazy. Where's the guy that was telling me to short Nasdaq? Tell me you're still on YouTube.
Oh, he went to bed.
People were saying Carbon Capital rocks. I love Carbon. I'm on Carbon. I love it. The conditions are great. Yo, Andy, I'm hearing some love over here, man.
I love it.
I'm about to go open a Carbon Capital account right after this.
My spread on gold right now on Carbon, hold on a second, I'll measure it and tell you. So right now on Carbon Capital, my spread is 1.2 pips.
What's your spread on Nasdaq?
You want to hear what my spread is on GJ?
Yeah, I'll tell you what mine is.
All right, tell me what yours is. I'll tell you what mine is. My spread on GJ. I don't
even have GJ on my watch list. I'm not going to add it back. I'm sorry.
Right, so my spread on GJ right now is 0.05, so a half a pip.
Dude, Hugo's way, I think the minimum is like 17. I think when I traded GJ this morning, it was at 24.
And on Nash, it's 14.
On Nash, it's 14 right now?
My spread right now, my spread on NAS right now is 2 pips.
2 pips?
Yeah, 2 pips.
Yo, who said that NAS was a short, guys? We just broke 800 pips. I have fulfilled my promise for the week to deliver 800 pips on this live stream. I've done what I got to do.
I'm gonna send you a screenshot of something that I want you to see from my cheating secret sauce.
Let's do it. He said, go NAS, go. I made $3,000 off the Nas trade. I made $1,000 off the Nas trade. Let's go get a membership. GJ on Nas, I don't even know if that makes sense. Says I'm the GOAT. No, I'm definitely not the GOAT, but I am fucking nice with this trading shit. You're gonna put some respect on that. Shout out to Andy for real too. Andy's the GOAT. Andy, guys, can we give a huge shout out to Andy for stopping by? There's no way he has to be here. Andy does not need to be goddamn anywhere. Can we show some love for Andy for showing up, blessing us with his presence, gracing us with his wisdom, and dropping some gems on this podcast or on this live stream?
I'm just glad to be here with you. I mean, most people might not know this, but you were literally, you were the first person to reach out to me when I was trading to want to have me on a podcast.
Dude, the stuff that you were talking about on these live streams, like it wasn't generic BS. It really showed me that you knew what you were talking about and you had a passion to not only explain this stuff, but to also, you were just overall genuine, but you really had a passion for this trading stuff. And those are the people I want to get on the podcast. Is like, sometimes people think that we're just getting like everybody who has clout. It's really people who have, first off, you need to be successful as a trader. Andy had already proved that. Then you have to be genuine. You got to be genuinely trying to look out for people because that's where the best information comes out. Andy says, like, I struggled for a long time. He said, I tried to do this and then I went through this phase and that phase and this phase. Most people are too kind of self-centered to really give that kind of advice. And so, Andy, when I saw that way that you were on live with Anthony, I was like, I got to pick your brain from your perspective. If you guys haven't seen that podcast, it is one of my absolute favorites. And Andy drops the crazy freaking numbers like every 2 seconds, like 1,000 Bitcoins and I had 1 million Ripple and all this stuff. I'm like, all right, it was blowing my mind the whole time.
So I just sent you a screenshot to your Instagram.
All right.
So this is what I look for in trades when you see it.
Guys, what is Andy's Instagram? Andy, let him know. There's a lot of fake accounts, so make sure you guys get the right one.
Tons. It is Real Andy Peters. That's RealAndyPeters. I will not message you for money. I will not ask you how your trading's going. Nothing.
Keep that in mind, guys.
Don't message people.
A lot of people are like, "Oh, Andy just messaged me, Roy. Like, do you think it's a real account?" I'm like, "Let me see this message." He says, "Hello, sir. Good day." I'm like, "This is not fucking Andy. Andy's not texting you. He don't even know you."
Yeah, it's wild.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right, and if you guys did make money on this Nas trade, it's real simple, guys. Get out your phones, tag me and Andy on Instagram, and we'll repost every single person. Yep. But if you're making money, just take out your phone, right? Go on Instagram. You guys see Instagram. You guys see that, like, take a picture button. Take a picture. That's an ugly picture. Take a picture. Click on it. Hit @ChartAddicts.
Gold just smashed TV.
Yeah, gold. Yeah.
Tag us on your stories if you guys made money. If you guys took that gold, if you guys took US30, if you guys took NAS, let me know.
My Discord better be jumping up and down for gold right now. If they're not,
sheesh,
not next week at all. I'm gonna say
I like that. I like that, Andy.
Jumping on if you guys aren't screaming.
Talk your shit, Andy. Eesh. Completely broke through that zone. So you would say next area of interest would be these highs?
Yeah, that's what I would like to see it actually just reject itself right now. I'd love it, nothing more.
Come crashing all the way back down?
Done. Let it crash. And hit and smashed.
Maybe around 1805. That would be my target, upside target.
And here, so I'll talk about this too, since we're on YouTube and we're on everything else, because I know you probably get these members too, where you've got those calls where you may lose a few pips or you may lose a couple of $1,000, and you got those calls that do really good, but then you just have those ones that just smash. And it makes me think about that as I'm looking at gold. So as you guys are part of Roy's Discord group, or you're part of my Discord, or anyone other's group for that matter, take into consideration these calls, like the one that I just had with gold, for example, with my group, where we're up 337 pips total in this run that we've had. And on top of that, we caught the sells that took us down over 350 pips. That's 700 pips in a matter of almost three trading days.
That's not normal, people. That's not normal.
People don't catch those moves. So when you have moves like that, those are sometimes as many moves as some people would have for a whole entire month.
Yeah.
So when you see me say, if gold hits a TP, I'm not trading anymore this week. If gold does this, I'm not doing this. It's because I know where I'm happy at. And it's like, once you have those moves and you have a win like that, you're done with it. Be done with it. Smile, be happy,
Exactly. I mean, that's also a really important thing. Both of our groups, Andy, because Andy, you're an exceptional trader. And I don't want to hype myself up. I don't want to toot my own horn, but the results speak for themselves.
Yeah.
And so our groups are like, they're kind of spoiled in a sense because they see us catch the swings. They don't see us catch these counter trend. Like, I mean, we do catch those. We all scalp, we all intraday trade, but they see us also catch these larger time frame moves. Guys, nobody's doing that. Like, nobody is really catching swing to swing inside of these ranges. And Andy just called that rejection on itself for gold. That thing just completely fell on itself. Right. So it's like when you guys see this level of skill, when you guys see this level of experience, just stick close, take notes, and really try to figure out how you can recreate it, because you do not want to take it for granted. Trading with somebody like Andy, even for me, I learn a lot. From that live stream, I learned a lot. From that Nasdaq, or from the US 30 shorts that we took, the GJ trade that we took. There's always something to learn.
Still kicking.
Yeah.
GJ is still kicking.
Yeah, we took this short last night because of the news. And I think one of our educators, Stefano, he had seen the pullback on this downward trend. He had seen the trend just keep moving down.
Yep.
And this thing crushed for like 230 pips overnight.
It was amazing.
I took this loss right here, Andy. I tried to short right here.
Oh.
Then it swiped up. So not everything is what's it called? Not everything's a winner.
Yeah. No, well, that's like me. We had GJ. So, I had GJ. We had Boz at 154.757.
Mm-hmm.
And we were taking it to TP, which was that upper trend at 156.190.
Right.
And literally made TP by like 3 pips. And I was hoping for a further push, and it just rejected on us and slammed back down. And this is a prime example of why I like to say, protect your entries,
Protect your entries.
Yeah.
Now, what do you feel like? Because a lot of people always have this question where they don't know when to move it. And when you're a newer trader, or when you've been beat by the market, you tend to get a little bit scared and conservative. So as soon as it pushes, they'll move to break even, and then it'll like smash them, and then it'll move. What do you feel like is good advice about moving to break even?
So first, I like to say, have your stop loss in place. You should never trade without a stop loss, because you could have news come down that could completely just murder you. So stop losses are extremely, extremely important. As far as protecting, if you're trading the 1 minute, give yourself about 10 candles. 10 candles is what we're seeing now as ideal. So like, even if we're looking at US 30 this morning, as soon as you got that push and you got that entry, if you count your 10 candles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it almost puts you at the first peak before the second peak of US 30. And you could have protected your entry, and you've got roughly 4 pips in savings that you didn't get knocked out on, and you're still running a profit. And one thing that people have to understand is when they protect their entry is also take partials. Okay. So instead of, because a lot of people will take their partials in, and this is something I've been playing around with, they'll run a standard, they'll get to half, then they'll go ahead and protect, and then they've got to go into that trade to cut it in half to click close. Well, if you're trading on MetaTrader, go ahead and enter that position. So when you do a buy limit or a sell limit, buy stop, whatever, if you plan on entering with, say, a standard, enter with 2.5s. That way you don't have to go in to click buttons to close out partial. As soon as you protect, you can click the X. on the
You just
other
close
half.
the trade. Oh yeah, so you're talking about, so a lot of folks do trade off their phone. So regardless, it's a process, but you're talking about trading on your MetaTrader on the computer, right?
Yeah, and that way you're boom. I mean, like within 2 seconds, you can drag, protect, and click the X, and you've already closed out half. Because when you're
Beautiful.
trading something like US 30 on the 1 minute, you don't
Oh, yeah.
have a ton of time to react.
Okay,
You
yeah,
know?
that's a different story for sure.
So I do like doing that. If you're on your phone, you don't have any other choice but obviously to go in and close out those positions. But
Andy,
I do like,
real quick question. So the entry that we took here, would you protect this, or do you feel like you'd wait for it to break out of that range, confirm the trade before you protected it?
I'd most definitely protect.
Right now?
Most definitely, yeah. And the only reason that I say that is because I'm real big on protecting capital, because it's like, for me, I would rather protect my capital than lose money.
So you'd rather like not make any money and have it hit break even rather than lose money.
And that's kind of my secret into building my accounts. So, you know, I've had a lot of people say, man, you took that account from 7,800 to over $100,000. How did you do that? How did you not have massive losses? It's like, well, because I was protecting. So as long as I'm protecting, I'm never losing my capital. So if I took, say, and I actually journaled it, out of every 10 trades, I got knocked out of 8 trades.
20% hit rate?
Yep. So literally 80% of all trades knocked me out at break even. However, the other 20% that took off were the trades that made me like 5K, 15K, 12K, you know, so it's like I'm protecting more, but then when they finally hit, it's gone.
Beautiful. That is like I'm not going to lie. Like if I was to run a fund, which I'm planning on doing sometime 2023 or 24, that sounds like the best strategy. It's you preserve the capital as your number one priority, and then you focus on hitting home runs. Exactly. You don't risk your capital so you can hit these home runs. That is awesome. That's really, that's top tier advice right there.
And it just stacks. You know, before you know it, you're like, man, I got knocked out at break even. Well, I say break even, you still make like 25 to $50. So, I mean, you're still doing that. So even if a person, say, gets knocked out of the trade 8 times at $50, you're still making $400 on that trade.
Exactly. So you could still walk away with money. You still walk away in blues. You don't have to sacrifice any of the capital.
Exactly.
So guys, if you haven't already put your stop loss and break even for Nasdaq, please make sure you do so right now. And then I just did the same for U30. I have my stops and break even for U30. We're sitting at about, let me do math here, guys, about 25 points, 250 pips in profit on that U30. So US 30 and Nasdaq are now risk-free trades. If you guys got to hop off, get on to work and do what you guys got to do. It was great to see everybody on this live stream. A recap will be posted right after the call is done. If you guys are interested in going back and reviewing the trades and what we called, I highly recommend that you do so. And if you have any questions, please make sure to reach out to myself. Or if you guys want to connect with Andy, let me put this back up. If you guys want to connect with Andy at Real Andy Peters on Instagram. Make sure you guys go out, show some love. If you guys made money one last time, please say something in the chat before we hop off. Let's see some love, and let's see some love for Andy for stopping by.
Dude, thank you, bro. Thank you. And someone, Justin Coffee said, what did he say about the 10 candles? Basically, just after 10 candles, look for protection. Obviously, when you look for this, if you got 10 candles that are setting in a consolidation zone or anything like that, don't say I'm going to protect here, because you may get knocked out and it may fly. You know, I mean, I say 10 candles because normally after 10 is what I've seen as average for you to have enough space to protect and still take half the profits and make a little bit of money. I'm just really, really, really big on protecting capital.
So what do you mean 10 candles on the 1 minute?
Yeah, on the 1 minute. Because I trade US 30 on the 1 minute and the 30 minute.
Okay.
Quick question. For Roy and Andy, like whoever just has an answer for it. So there was an old strategy that I was learning about candles, and I was told / learned that after being in the trade and after 3 candles have formed, if the candle indicates that it's in profit, to stay in the trade, and after 3 candles, if it's not, to just exit out the trade. I just want to know you guys' viewpoints on that.
Andy, you want to go first? I mean, I have my own take on that.
So, I mean, I've never personally traded that strategy or even that type of candle pattern. I'm more of a, and when I say this, it sounds really goofy because I've dumbed down my trading so much that my 7-year-old son can trade with me now. I've got these little
and
dots.
crushes it, by the way, and crushes it.
I've got these little dots on my chart that basically give me swing high, swing lows, and that's all I'm looking for. Is swing high, swing lows. Now there is, if you're trading, and I may understand your question correctly, and I hope this is it. Like with gold, once you do get those candles that bounce and move on like a 30-minute, and after you get a good push, then typically the direction that it's going is where it goes, and will continue running that way until it hits a consolidation zone and or a rejection. Is that what you were kind of asking, or did I misunderstand the question?
Yeah, thank you. You got it. Gave me some insight on that. I was just trying to get some more opinion to see if this like strategy that I was taken up on was like accurate or something that I should be taking into consideration for my trading. So thank you, Andy.
Awesome.
My take on that is it's every pair is unique, and so if you're trading a specific pair, see how that pair reacts. So some pairs, like it might actually respect that, and so after 3 candles, if it doesn't turn around, if it doesn't do this, the only way you can do that is you have to back test it and literally look at every time it happens and try to find like the number for it. Like to really see if a strategy works, you have to test it. There's strategy testers and like all of these platforms that you can use, but you can also do it manually. So for Nasdaq, for example, I don't trade it the same way as GJ or gold. For gold, I'm a 1 candle kind of player. So if I enter a gold position, I see 1 candlestick, I'm usually out. For Nasdaq, I do need to see these candlesticks push. And as soon as this candlestick closes, I have a very high probability that it'll but at least in this session, it will not come back to these lows. And so you just have to become very familiar with the pair that you're trading. That way you'll start to understand how it reacts and how it shows reversals. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
For sure.
Got it. I'm like trying to like, as you talk, write some stuff down in my notes. So like, thank you.
For sure. And we could talk more about it on a one-on-one call if you want.
Yeah, I'm booked for Saturday noon.
Okay. So we'll do some back testing on your pair and figure out if that strategy is working or if it only works every once in a while and it kind of just like is not a real strategy. So
all right. Appreciate you.
Almost 1,000 pips, people. Almost 1,000 pips. Is this normal? Is this normal? Guys, you tell me. I do this regularly, but you tell me, is this normal to catch 1,000 pips in less than an hour?
From the outside looking in, hell no, this ain't normal.
and that's what I try, and that's why I preach. So because people are like, Andy, I joined this person's signal group, and Andy, I joined this one, and I want to join this group, and should I join? And I tell people this.
Sorry, Andy. I'm sorry, real quick, guys. If you do have a manual TP, move it and keep an open TP on your runner, because if the trend is going to continue, you want to be holding a runner. Keep an open, take profit. If you guys have this set, sorry, Andy.
Dude, you're good. You're good.
It's getting real close.
I always tell people, here's the thing. I am joined on so many groups and growth platforms that it's ridiculous. I spend, and I think I showed it on my own Zoom about a month ago. I spend probably close to $6,000 a month between my life coach, between different telegrams that I pay to be part of, different discords I pay to be part of, because I want to be surrounded by everyone that I know is winning. I want to be surrounded by everyone that I know is doing good. And like Rory had said, catching over 1,000 pips in combined. I just made a post in my Discord group in all caps, where I'm like, who is still in gold? Why are my people not jumping up and down? Where are all my Instagram tags? Like, let's freaking go, guys. We called it live. We took the TP live. The stop loss was called live. Where is all my winners? Well, here's what will happen. You'll have people that'll say, well, unfortunately, I didn't take that trade. Unfortunately, I didn't like the markup, or unfortunately, I didn't take this, and this. Well, here's what happens. As you're trading, if you don't take, like, let's say myself or Rory won. Let's say we call out 5 trades and you pick and choose one of those trades to take. Well, what happens if the one pair that you decided to take was the loser, but the other 4 are the ones that crush it? You take them. You take them, analyze your risk down, and just go. Because, the money that has been made today on Roy's live stream here on YouTube for everyone to watch, the money that has been made on my group between Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday as well. Let's not even talk about the days that we had on Friday and Thursday of last week. It's like people don't do that. It's not normal. Like
we're focused, we're trained, and we're dedicated to this sport, to this mental sport. And you know, Andy is Steph Curry. That's what it is. That's what he's trying to say. Is that if because we have dedicated so much time to our craft, and because Andy and myself have that desire to help you guys, honestly, Andy, I feel like that's what makes us so successful in trading. Because you can find your own trades. You catch your rejection, you walk away. But when you have to, you know, give trades to others and you have to build that fortitude, I feel like that's what makes us successful, because we got to look at the market a different way. Got to have that patience, got to have that confidence in these trades.
And that's why
y'all are in good hands.
Dude, look at that NAS, bro.
Dude, I can't make this up. This is 1,200 pips and running. Who's still holding a runner, guys? Who's still holding a runner, and who had their TP hit? And what's crazy, Andy, is we literally did this yesterday. We literally did the same thing yesterday. Like you can't make this up.
And here's the thing: the screenshot that I sent you on your Instagram.
Oh, I haven't even checked that. That's my bad.
That's the markup that my people take. So every single person that has been underneath my mentorship or anything cannot lose that trade. You see those 2 dots?
Yep.
Freaking connect them.
Connect the dots. Moving average cross. Break of structure. Now there's another dot forming up here at these highs. That don't make me comfortable. Doesn't that mean that there's a high forming?
Yes, I mean, like a dot actually just formed right now on the 1 minute, and they'll keep forming as it goes up. So if you're looking at this trade, you know, of, well, where should I get out of it? So I know you're going to have people.
Oh, this is M1. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought this was I thought this was like 30.
So our entry on NAS on the 30-minute. Which was given out to everyone while I was live, was 16,011. 16,011 was our buy stops.
You get that? Say that number again.
16,011 was our buy stops for NAS.
So like all the way down here, or 16,011, not even 16,1100, 16,011.
16,011. That's our buy stop.
Stop fucking playing.
I posted that up live. Yeah, I posted it live. That was in our group. We were looking at it all day yesterday.
So basically, guys, there was a consolidation here.
Exactly.
On that break of that structure right here.
Yep.
Beautiful. And that's a really good strategy that I use for NAS, by the way, Andy. It's consolidations and then retest of that consolidation from that session, the previous session. That's the same trade we took today. Like sometimes it'll break through just a little bit, kind of show its strength, but then as soon as it closes back above, we're in the money. So we just hit that 16,300 TP that we had and rejected perfectly, guys. So look at the TP was 16,300. We had a beautiful short-term rejection. Let me put a price note right next to it.
That was beautiful, bro.
16,305. Well, this candlestick is reversing right now at the 16,300, right at the TP. this is awesome.
But see, and this is the reason that I just love trading live. And I was going to say this. I've got a few questions I'll answer in a little bit. You know, when people don't trade live, they don't understand the pressure that's on them. And that's why I say it's great. I love seeing what you do. I love doing what I do. It puts a lot of weight on our shoulders, but dude, it is so rewarding when you have days like this.
For sure. Because one day like this will usually make up for a lot of losers. And so even if folks are having a rough week because of their own trading, even if folks are having a rough week from signals or whatever it is, one of these days, and this kind of what you were explaining is like, okay, some days are break even, small. But the one day that it actually smashes, that's what actually is going to like drive your account forward. So if you guys did have a rough week, this is the one trade that could have made back all the profits. And that's really what gives me that joy. It's like, all right, I was able to dig somebody out of that rut. Because I remember days where I was in a rut, you know, this is like 2018, and I would just be pissed off. Like I'd be in a losing rut and I would take somebody's signal or whatever and it would hit. And I would just be so grateful. I'm like, just thank God I didn't have to end the weekend negative. That I didn't want to have to go through the weekend like that.
You know what's really cool, and this is just, and you're talking about being grateful for signals and all that. When I first started trading, had like a little signal group, it was really cool. I had this one dude, and I just want to brag on him for a little bit. His name was John. I think it was John Bathard or Bathard.
Okay.
John Buford. and he lived out of, I think, Cleveland, Ohio. And every time, dude, that he would have a hit, he would send me like 10% of his winnings, and I never even asked him for it. Like, dude, he would Venmo, he'd cash at me, all this stuff. So if you're watching, bro, I don't know if you are. He's part of my Telegram group. Shout out to you, because I just thought that was really cool. Like, literally, he could have like a $50 day, and I'd get a cash out for like $5. You know, he'd have like $1,000 day. He'd send me like $100. I'm like, bro, you don't have to do that. He's like, nah, bro, I'm so thankful. I'm thankful. Like, it's my way of giving back. And then it reminds me of like what James did with Q. You know, when James had his big day, he gives Q that money. So I love that payback.
That's awesome.
I got a few questions here. It says, Andy, when did you last blow your account? The last account that I blew was in October of last year, right around this, like 3 weeks ago of last year, because me and Anthony were doing a contest on who could take a 10,000, I think it was a $5,000 account to 10,000 or 2,000 to 10. I forgot which one it was. And we ended up taking the accounts. I think Anthony beat me. So he took his account to like 50 to 60K and then blew it. He got there before I did. But then I took my account to like 90 something K and then risked it all, and I blew it. So it wasn't necessarily a real account. It was just me and him playing. Because I don't over leverage my accounts. If you guys have ever watched me trade, I'm trading a 6-figure account, dropping like $15 to $25 per pip, with pretty tight stop losses. So for me to blow my account, I'd have to lose a lot of money at one time, and that will never happen. Like, it will never happen, because I protect my capital. As you heard me tell Rory, I'm a massive, massive protector guy.
That's the way it's gotta be. That's the way it's gotta be. Ladies and gentlemen, we're up 1,200 pips on Nasdaq. I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep harping on that because I'm up a fucking bag.
Roy, they're telling me that I'm Steph Curry and you're LeBron.
No, oh my God. This is like Kobe and Shaq. All right, guys, quick plug while I have everybody here. Appreciate everybody for stopping by. The FX Summit 2022 is going to be May 13th through the 15th, 2022. It's going to be at the Miami Beach Convention Center. All the biggest names in trading are going to be there. I'm getting a flyer put together of all the guests. You know, I just talked to Q last night, and so it's going to be like everybody's face is going to be on the website, short intro on everybody. We have some institutional guests stopping by. We'll talk about that. If you guys want to see the daily schedule, just head over to the schedule tab. We're still building out this part of the site, but you'll be able to basically figure out some things to make your stay easier. So restaurants and sightseeing, accommodations and attractions for the event. Some of those attractions pretty close to the convention center. There's the Miami Beach Botanical Garden right across the street, Miami Beach boat tours, Art Basel, etc. It's going to be the #1 social Forex event that's ever been put on. This is not a pyramid scheme event. This is not an institutional panel event. This is strictly for the retail community to connect with each other. And honestly, guys, we do need to reshape the culture around Forex, because when we talk to people that don't know anything about it, they automatically think about pyramid scheme when people say Forex. And obviously, we're all traders. We're all in the community. We know better. But from the outside world, every time I try to talk to somebody about trading, they're like, wait, isn't that a scam? Wait, isn't that like you sign people up and all this stuff? So this convention is our chance to kind of reshape the image around trading. It's the first chance that, retail traders have a chance to connect with other people from, all the chart addicts, going to meet people from Andy's group and connecting and talking and sharing experiences and all this stuff. That's the FX Summit 2022, May 13th through May 15th. You guys can come on down here and RSVP. And if you're ready to buy your tickets, head over to the ticket tab and see the 3 different ticket options. If you have any questions, reach out to us in the email or reach out to us in our messages, and we'll be happy to help you however you need it.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think I'm one of the people that's going to be there too.
Andy, I heard that you're going to be on stage at the panel discussion.
I did. I heard I'll be on stage. So if you guys didn't know that, little drop to y'all to get your ticket and come to this event, because you're going to basically what you saw on Rory's live stream for 24 hours with all the traders up there, the panel and everyone talking. You're going to get to see that in person. And I've already made the commitment that I'm going to go to the event. He's going to have me up on stage. We're going to talk. We're going to have fun. So you guys get your ticket, please. Come down, support this cause. I mean, we'll have some nice meet and greets. I'm sure afterwards, everyone's going to go out and do some fun stuff.
Yep.
So
there's no supporting any cause. This is not like a charity case that I need support on. Guys, this is for Andy, you're connected in this industry. You talk to some of the biggest name traders in this industry, but these guys, they might not have that same opportunity. Even being around that same room, even seeing you, Q, Anthony on stage talking about trading and talking about how long it takes and talking about the journey and staying in the game for the long time, gambling versus trading, those conversations, seeing them live is so different than doing it on YouTube, you know? And so this is really for you guys. If you guys want to grow, if you're not surrounded by traders that are pushing you to new heights, you guys want to show up to this and invest in yourself so you can get that motivation and see what the future looks like for you by getting around all these traders that have what you want. So I just didn't want to shape it as like a come support our cause. Like, it's not our cause. We're really doing this for the community. And I really want people to invest in themselves, because it's the shit I did that kind of put me ahead. I went and connected with Lasaldo and Luke Longmire back in IML. And even though I didn't really use the IML products, just by going there and meeting those guys and Lasaldo talking to me about $50,000 weeks, that completely lifted all limitations I had on myself. And so just being around that environment could really be the shift that you guys need. This trade just got me back in break even for my FTMO account. With this, I can restart my challenge next week. Roy's the GOAT. Not a GOAT, just very dedicated. But I'm really happy for you, Izzy. Great to see it. I tell people, Andy, I'm not a GOAT, but I fit the description.
Dude, same here. That's my thing. You'll see me make post all the time where it's like, look, man, I'm not a GOAT. I'm not the best. I'm not the best trader there ever has been or will be. It's like, because at the end of the day, like, I'm just a dude, the guy here trading. There's bigger people than me. You know, there's traders, guys, that make stupid money. Q's even mentioned it before. Q's like, man, y'all think $100,000 a day or $1 million is big? There's traders out here that make $1 billion for these hedge funds. You know, I mean, we're some small scale compared to these big ones, but at the same time, these small scales can add up big time for just the average person.
100%. Like, you don't need to make 100K in a month to change your life.
No,
people, if you're making
$500 a day is $120,000 salary a year.
Look, I'll put it in even simpler terms. $500 a week is a lot for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're living basically from expenses to paycheck, that extra 500 is the traveling money for your family. That extra 500 is like the vacations. The extra 500 is, investing in a college fund for the kids. It's whatever you guys want it to be, but you don't have to be making tens of thousands to change your life. The first step is to start making those profits that'll be able to get you, at least a better quality of life.
Oh yeah.
Now, y'all, US 30 hit my break even. I'll be completely honest. If it closes back above later in the session, I am looking to go long. But for now, I'm just going to leave it alone and see how it reacts. The same trade is valid. Like, the same trade idea is not going to change. I just need to see the confirmations around that zone. Alrighty. Nasdaq is running over 1200 pips. It broke right through the TP. This is why we set the open take profits. When you are trading with the trend of a market that's aggressively trending in a specific direction, and I don't mean something that's like gold, which is a safe haven. It goes up in good or it goes up in bad times, and it goes down in good times. The stock market index is bullish. Okay, it's inherently bullish. Every single 2 weeks, when people get a paycheck at work and they have to pay money to their 401k that gets swiped from their paycheck, it ends up in the markets. The market is being fed billions of dollars every 2 weeks based on the 401ks. Yep. So this thing is inherently bullish. And if we're trading with the trend, you want to hold that entry, because you guys are about to be in for a treat if you're still holding that runner.
Yeah, bro, that is just, and this was, I wanted my people to get on the call. I wanted y'all to have fun. Hopefully, I pray that you all listened to Roy and took these entries, even the entries that we were looking for on, US 30. I mean, it was beautiful. They came down. You had the buy limits that he was talking about. It ran up.
It's still respecting that buy limit price.
Yeah, still respecting
that force field right here.
And if you don't feel confident in that trade, like you said, close out, because at the end of the day, Nas has made you stupid money right now. So
say that again.
Yeah, I mean, like right now,
I'm having a great day.
Yeah, I mean, 16,195 on an entry. I mean, you're setting at 1,200 pips right now.
Yep.
1,200 pips.
All right, guys. I gotta hop off. I have a bunch of meetings to get to for the convention. I'm going to meet with some vendors. It's great to see everybody. Andy Peters, thank you again for gracing us with your time, your wisdom, and your presence. Everybody else, if you guys made money, just throw us a quick tag. Just throw us a quick tag on Instagram. It's not going to hurt you.
As always, it's a pleasure you having me here. For everyone that was on the YouTube listening, man, y'all better be high-fiving Roy. Tag me and him, please, on Instagram. We're going to give some shout-outs. I mean,
Even better. If you made money, take that money and buy a ticket to the FX Summit 2022. That would be the best thing to do. I'll see you guys there, and you guys will see Andy on stage there. Andy, thanks again for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, signing off. If you guys want to watch this recording, it'll be posted as soon as we end this call. Take it easy.